Hey, everybody. Look at us. We made it to the 10th episode of Bomb Shelter. Wow. I am so proud of this show, of my squad here, and of this episode, because this one is so many laughs. This is one of them silly ones. But it's also very interesting because my guest today, stand-up comedian, but somebody who I consider kind of like a gun for hire type guy that gets involved with a lot of comedians' projects. So it's kind of outside of just stand-up. This guy has been he was a member of Kill Tony for a little bit. He was in the band of Kill Tony. He was part of the wave of the roast battle. Most recently, he goes on tour with Dr. Phil Live, Adam Ray's show. And but this guy is somebody who something I've always admired, that all my colleagues admire about this guy, is how he, in every performance he ever does, he goes 100% in. And you'll see that the 100% commitment really does open you up for love or hate, and not much in between. So this guy's had some, like all of us, has had some hard times, some great times, and this episode, he really dives into what it's like to bomb just as a stand-up, but also just like in these different mediums where he's bombing on his friends' stuff, which is kind of harder. But I'm super stoked to have him here. He's one of the kindest, funniest, coolest people I know. Known him for a long time. And if you get a chance, his special comes out September 10th. It's called Crazy Pizza. And he is Jeremiah Watkins. Dude, I am so stoked that I got you. I knew that I wanted you. I've been wanting you, but it's always like, you're in LA, I'm here.
I know. And you're like, when I think of somebody who bombs, Jeremiah.
I have a list of bombers.
Like,
Jeremiah's
dude, this guy's going to have some stories, dude. Yeah.
As soon as I saw you the other night at Mitzi's, I was like,
here we go, dude.
But, we were just talking right before this, and you brought up such a good point, because a lot of people I've had on this show we're talking about stand-up comedy, or the one performance that they do, like this band, what they do. But you've been on so many different ensembles of our friends and just people at big live shows, and you have all kinds of different bombs, and you have all kinds of different awkwardness.
Oh, dude. I mean, that's the thing, is like, when you take as many swings as I do, you're bound to fail even more than the average person. So we can get into, I've been fortunate to be a part of a lot of different shows with our buddies over the years and stuff like that. And I have plenty of bomb stories for each and every one.
Are some shows just harder than others? Are there ones that when you go into, you're like, oof?
Yeah, I honestly think I probably, I think the bomb hurts more when it's not your show.
Yes.
Because you feel like you're letting someone else down. Where it's like, we own it as stand-ups.
Yeah.
Like, if we bomb, it's like, there's nobody to blame but yourself. Like, maybe you said something wrong. Maybe you dug yourself a hole that you never quite got out of with the audience. But when you're, the thing that I've been lucky to be a part of over the years is I've been a guy that has been a go-to for people to be like, hey, I have this particular thing. Can you do it? And I'm like, yes, I can absolutely do that. And I do it a lot of the time, but there's sometimes, like, we all bomb, like, and it happens.
Yeah.
And then, you have to see them after a show, and they're like, okay, all right, and then get them next time, kind of a thing.
No, it's such a good point, because when you bomb alone, it's like, you'll deal with it in the way that you do, however you may. And it's like, but it is just, it's just you. And it's like, but letting other people down sucks. That's why I stopped doing improv, because I started at the Groundlings.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I knew that, actually.
2004. It was a week after I graduated high school. I went straight to the Groundlings. My comedy hero is Will Ferrell.
Oh, dude.
So I was like, I just wanted to follow in his footsteps.
Of course.
And he was a guy that was at the Groundlings, so I didn't even know really about improv or anything. I just knew, it's kind of a school for comedy.
Yep.
And I went, and I was pretty bad. But as the more classes I took, and I started getting hang of it, and I started doing like some shows, some improv shows, and that was the thing, is like, when I failed up there, we all failed, and that sucked.
Yeah, my friend who I used to have be in an improv group with, Chris Edwards, he said improv is so much harder to watch because it's a group of people failing together. I'm like, he's like, with stand up, you see one person. He's like, but when you see a big group of people running into just bombing together, he's like, it's so much harder to watch. And we did both. Yeah, we did improv, we did stand up. He goes, dude, it's like when you watch an improv bomb, it's brutal.
Oh man, I know it. And you know, especially when you go watch these shows at the Groundlings, have you ever seen like a legit improv show live?
Dude, of course. So we have the same story, but I researched Chris Farley, and he was a Second City guy. So that's why I went the Second City approach. I was obsessed with him, Jim Carrey, Steve Martin, and I looked up all these guys. I'm like, how did they start? Like, how did they get into it? All this stuff, and Farley, a big part of his story is Second City, and that's where he got discovered by SNL and everything. And I was like, I started looking up Second City, reading books about it. That's where Tina Fey, Steve Carell, all these comedy legends were there. And I was like, oh, I want to go to this school. Like, out of all the schools I saw, because I researched the Groundlings, I saw, Will Ferrell, Phil Hartman, like Lisa Kudrow, all these like amazing people were at the Groundlings as well. But I was like, I'm going to try out the Second City in LA. And then eventually I went to the Groundlings a little bit later. I did a few classes over there and then got too busy with touring, and I couldn't do the classes over there anymore.
Yeah. That's like, it's a way to start. I mean, like, especially because, you know, starting stand-up is so jarring. Like, I just sign up and then I'm in, and then I'm a comedian.
Yeah.
It's like you're up there. That first time you step foot on stage, it's like you're doing it. But
also, you're with improv, it's just a more welcoming place in general because you're all like, you're doing scenes together, so you're learning together, where you're just alone in stand-up. And you're next to other comics who are signing up, but you're also next to homeless people that are signing up and like completely crazy. And out of your mind, you're like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? It's like, is this the right path?
Oh, yeah. And then you find like the one or two like not as insane people.
Yeah.
And then
they're like, no, that's the working comic in the room. That's
right. This guy's
the
just
insane
working
guy.
out shit right now.
Yeah.
I always laugh with Francisco Ramos because we were out front. I mean, this is weeks into stand-up comedy, signing up for the Laugh Factory, Mike.
Oh, dude.
You had to sit there all day.
I got a Laugh Factory bomb for you.
Me too. That place that's a factory of bombs for me. I've always no, dude. I literally, Jamie just thinks I suck, and he's from everything he's seen, he's absolutely right. But some places connect better than others. But no, with improv, at least like, you know, you're taking a class before you're really doing anything.
Yeah.
So it's almost like we're practicing in here together, like a jam band type thing, and there's a teacher, way more supportive, way more, you know.
I mean, yeah. Imagine having a teacher at an open mic to be like, try this a little bit. That's why people are drawn to stand-up classes sometimes because it's that same mentality. I really
understand that.
Yeah.
I really understand why you would think to take a stand-up comedy class if you didn't know better. It's definitely not what you should do, but it is a good. It makes sense, and maybe do it. You know, I know people that are great stand-up comedians that took a class.
Yeah.
But they're always just like, it was good to. It was they all describe it as a way to get in.
It's not.
As a way
it's
to
an
start.
icebreaker.
It's an icebreaker. Yeah. Rather than doing the crazy thing, and
it gets you over your initial fear hump of just that hurdle of like, can I even do this? It's like, well, okay, let me start with a class.
Yeah, that first leap into it. You know, and that's an intense thing. But when I met you, this must have been late 2000s, maybe somewhere mid 2000s. Like when do you arrive on the scene?
So I moved to LA in 2009, was doing improv for the first few years with like at Second City, and I did everything there. I interned there. That's how I paid for my improv classes. Was I interned and I cleaned the bathrooms there. I ran the lights. I ran the lights for Keegan-Michael Key and his improv group.
Oh.
So I saw literally some of the best improv I've seen in my entire life with his improv group.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
good improv is like magic.
It truly is.
I can't.
Yeah, people are their minds are blown, and then the highest compliment is, "Did you write that?"
Yeah.
That's like
what's the long form there's a name for it. Is that what
The Herald?
The Herald.
Yeah, yeah.
Where it's like you get like it's like a group of people, and then they get a suggestion from the audience to like a job or something like that, and then for the next hour or whatever.
Yeah, it's a structured thing that just keeps like, and then they hopefully bring it full circle at the end, and and
it's like hypnotizing the way when I would go to the Groundlings, and there's people there. I remember like there's people that end up becoming really famous that like were just struggling actors.
Oh yeah,
that do the Groundlings at night. They're on the company, which like man, what a crazy format for like a. We just do stand up, and then sometimes you get better spots, but they have to go through all the courses, and then you get voted into the company, which is usually like 30 people. But then there's legacy people that come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a hard system.
You think stand up's political? I mean, I can't imagine that improv world. I didn't get close enough to it, but when
it's very what I've heard. It's very political. It's like a casting thing, just like in Hollywood, where like you remember Tommy at the Comedy Store? He's like I have all these slots for people. He's like I'm filling casting slots. That's what I'm doing. That's how he looked at like. I mean, he had his own system of like, all right, there's the Arab guy, there's the white guy, like he would talk. I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
Around the room, well, we got a gay, a gay woman.
Yeah.
Well, we need two gays, so they're friends.
right. All right, check. We don't have any room for more gays.
Wait, we don't have a black gay. I don't think they make them in black.
Is that a new model?
New model of gay? Yeah. The black gay just dropped.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's like it's a whole different thing there. But you come in and you were you're such a hustler, dude. I remember you starting a comedy show way before Stand Up on the Spot. You had other shows.
Oh yeah.
That the Annex at the Improv before it is what it is now.
The Improv Lab?
So it's the lab now, but remember it was called. I want to say it was called the Annex.
Was that the Ice House?
That was Ice House.
Ice House
Annex.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe it was. I don't think it was always called the lab though.
I think it might have been. I think that they rebuilt it so many times. Yeah, because it used to be just like no bar or anything. No. It actually was a dope room. It was just a curtain, a little stage, almost similar to the setup here at the Rabbit.
Yeah,
like it's just like. That's
just
what
barely
it's for.
Anything. Carpet. It was all carpet. Yeah. That, and you had a show in there, and I remember you had me on it. You had me on your Christmas show. It was for or they just left the tree up there.
No. So that show, I know that was Stand Up on the Spot.
Oh,
that's how long I've been running Stand Up on the Spot.
Oh my God!
That was when you did that. That was the Christmas show, because I remember I've like vivid, like I have pictures in my head of that show of you doing it. Ari Shaffir attacked the Christmas tree because he was Jewish. He literally he tackled the tree and started beating it. I'm like, that's not my tree, dude. Like that's the Improvs, and he's just like beating this Christmas tree, and he's like. So yeah, I'm Jewish. That's how he opened the set, and I was like, "Whoa, this guy's incredible."
That's right, and you've had him in different places. Remember, there was another one where it was like a little black box theater.
Yep, we in Theater Row there was the Little Modern and the Rant LA was all in that Theater Row. I did it at 3 clubs. The Improv Lab, Second City, and you did a couple of those different rooms before it made its way at its home at the Comedy Store.
Yeah,
because I was kind of moving around and testing places out and developing and like honing it and trying to get better. I mean, you talk about a show where I bombed on. I mean, I was learning to do stand up while hosting. In my opinion, Stand Up on the Spot, I think, is the hardest show in comedy, because it's literally like. It's all riffing off audience suggestions. You don't have your material at your disposal. And sometimes the suggestions, you got to find the right suggestion that you even want to talk about.
Yeah.
So that show, cold opening, I also learned so much about how to do the show, especially since we've been taping it for YouTube the last few years. Like, I used to cold open the show, explain the concept all on camera, And then it'd be like, let's do it. And the crowd's literally, their heads are spinning. They're like, wait, you're not doing your material. Like, they're like not even digesting what's happening yet. And I'm like, give me words and topics. And they're like, whoa. So the first, like early on with the show, I would 50-50. My sets would go 50-50 whether I bomb or not. So I bombed more doing stand up on the spot than any of my shows, for sure.
As you're developing stand up on the spot, it's good that you're doing everything before you even get on stage. You're booking it, you're organizing it, you're promoting it, you're making the branding, you came up with the name, all that. But then the cold open, you're running it. Now you're the captain. There's nobody doing you're not delegating the heavy lifting.
For sure,
it's all you. And then you have your friends on it, and then. But I've definitely been rocked on your show. No doubt.
Dude, so, it's one of those things where sometimes it goes the comics way, and then other times it's like, that's why my favorite part of the show is I love riffing with my friends on that show. Because like, even if the solo set, like even if my opening set doesn't go well, I'm like, you know what? I've got a lot more chances to riff and have fun and be funny with my friends. And that's how I feel about like the comics doing their solo sets too. The solo sets are like 7 to 10 minutes. So like, if the comic doesn't like how that goes, guess what? There's a second chance when I join you on stage. So like, and then before we put it on YouTube, I always send like a private link to the comics. I'm like, hey, if you want me to edit anything out, let me know.
That's so cool.
So like that's why I tell people like, there's no pressure.
Yeah.
If you bomb on a section and you hate it, guess what? We're not putting it out there.
Yeah. That's
so
great.
I give that a little bit of a safety net. So it was like, yeah, there's no stakes.
Well, that's going to loosen everybody up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody take more risks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So when you started doing that, were you always filming them? Are they?
No, I didn't have the means or the finances or anything. Like I literally would just put up, just for my own sake, I'd put up a remember those USB flip cams?
Yeah.
But like every time I recorded, like I'm so white that there was no exposure settings on the camera. So I look like a ghost in every single video. So I have like all these videos of me. I'm like, welcome to the show. And I'm like, you can't even see the guy's face. It's the only time my noses look small because there's an orb of light that's covering. You can't even see it.
It's like ghost doing crowd work.
Yeah, what is happening?
It's like ghost riffing so hard. When did you start taping them? When did you?
Just the last 4 or 5 years. So
that's it?
Yeah. So we've been doing we've been filming them like the last 5 years. We just hit like our 100th episode on YouTube, and the first I've been doing the show like over 16 years now. Oh my God. Like literally the first decade of the show is me tinkering with the format, figuring it out, bombing, knowing what to not do more. That's the most important thing of a bomb, is figuring out, I will never do that again.
Yeah.
And then figuring out, okay, if you bomb so many times and you're like, if I keep all the things that went well, okay, now I have my hour. Now I have my, my stuff that's sturdy and tested and true. So yeah, I worked on the format and like little tinkering here and there over the years. And it's finally gotten to a place where like now even the filming, now what I do for the filming is like I go out to cold open, but I just do a few minutes of taping announcements like a warm-up comic would do on a show and be like, hey, this is how the taping's going to work. This is what the show is. And then I have a comic come do a set of 5 minutes of material just to warm them up with jokes.
Yeah.
Then I come back on and the taping starts. And dude, my sets went 1,000% better just with a little bit of them digesting the concept. And then I'm not word vomiting all the things that I need out of them. Now I can be funny on the actual taping. And I learned that the hard way of just years of being like, man, why is this not working? Why am I making this so hard on myself? And then I'm like, for any TV show or any special, they have a warm-up comic. Why am I not helping myself out a little bit? So yeah,
you're seeing why they have that.
And one of the early episodes, and it's ironic how this works, but one of the first episodes that went super viral on YouTube of Stand Up on the Spot is with Shane Gillis, Akash Singh, Trevor Walls, and Ian Fidance. And we filmed it as a special at what is now the Sunset Strip. It used to be called the Parish back in the day in Austin. And that was before I knew to, kind of let it breathe a little bit. And so I vomited all how the show works, and I did my own cold open. And it's a hard set. It's not like I hit some, but like it's one of those sets where it's like I'm on stage with Shane later, and he's so massive now. The comments against me are brutal because I'm like this guy who's like, I'm just trying to riff, and I'm just like trying to find my spots, and they're like, let Shane talk. He is our God. Stop talking, Jeremiah. And then like all the comments are literally just like, Shane, you don't need that guy. Lose him immediately. I'm like, no, they don't get that it's my show that Shane was nice enough to guest on, and they're like, that guy's holding you back, Shane. Like, no, it's like we're riffing together. We're doing like we're trading riffs back and forth.
That's the thing. You must have, I mean, just by anybody posting or being a part of something so big, like the ridicule that anybody gets online is already insane. But you definitely put yourself in so many positions to be ridiculed. And you're such a sweet, innocent, hardworking guy and you're there helping your friends. And then I can imagine just the shrapnel you get.
That's a great way to put it. That is a great way to put it. I'm full of shrapnel. I've had plenty of things where, it's great when it works out. And fortunately, like I look at comedy as like a very long journey, and I'm here for the ride. And I end up growing on people after they kind of get what I do. But sometimes they're very averse to what my specific thing is that I contribute to these different shows.
Which I think it's because they at first don't know what you do.
Oh no, for sure. It's like it's its own. Yeah, it's a unique lane that I'm grateful that I've kind of forged for myself. But with unprecedented like doing things with and helping out different comics and shows and collaborating, there's going to be just as much positivity as negativity. Where it's like, you should lose that guy. And I'm like, hello. Hi, how are you?
Hi, glad to be here.
Great to be here. What else can I do for you?
No, but because I think what people, and I remember like early on, like when we're all getting to know each other, something that was said about Jeremiah Watkins early on that like was like the noteworthy thing was that Jeremiah commits 100%. You put it all on the stage. There's not, like for the longest time, like I was very, modest in ways. And, there's like, we're all nervous at first. But you just kind of like, you bring it all. And I think that's the part that people would want that on their show. Like, this guy's going to go all in.
Yeah.
He'll take the direction, but he'll also do it. He's so into the character that he's in that he's going to make choice. That character's making choices.
Yeah.
Like, not just Jeremiah. He immerses himself.
Oh, no. And it's played to my advantage, but it's also gotten me in trouble a lot over the years of how hard I commit. It's like there's usually a love-hate relationship with me. You either love what I do and get it and you're on board, or you're like, I hate this guy.
Yeah.
I hate and this is just me like from over the years of like, I should stop reading YouTube comments.
Oh God. Please
but
stop.
That's just what it is. That's just what it is. Like people either like love or they're like, this is the most foul creature I've ever laid my eyes upon. He doesn't deserve to be in the same existence or in the same breath as these other comics. Like it's that like love hate, but honestly, that's how I'd rather have it. The review that I get after a show, if I ever get this review that's like, he was okay, that's a knife to the heart, dude, because that means that I didn't do my job enough to make some kind of impression on you.
Right.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Indifference is my least favorite feedback in anything in life.
Wow.
Indifference. Oh, yeah, I know the guy. He's all right.
Wow.
I'd rather you be like, I hate Jeremiah Watkins, or he's great. But dude, this like, yeah, I've seen him. Yeah, he's okay. That to me is like the worst review you can have.
Keeps you up.
Yeah.
Oh no, dude, I would way prefer that over. I hate that. I would. But dude, I mean that's a testament of what you put out there. I mean that's you. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of energy. Yeah. It's 100%. And yeah, dude, it's gonna be hyperbolic anyway if you go that hard into it.
So yeah, I'll either I will kill or I will lean into the bomb.
Die by the sword.
Sometimes like if I don't like a crowd when I'm bombing, I can tell, like, you know, we all have crowds that we're like, I'm not clicking with. I'm like, oh, you haven't even seen the bomb that's gonna happen now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna dig this even.
Yeah.
You're coming down.
Yeah.
We're going.
All going.
Yeah.
We're all bombing.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
What was the first thing that you attached yourself to after being a stand-up comedian for a little bit and getting to know the guys and the girls and all the people in it? Like, when did you start like participating in stuff outside of your own thing?
You know, it started off with like sketches and different things like that, where I would be collaborative with people in that regard, because that's like where my background is, like in high school and stuff like that. I was filmmaking and broadcasting, and I was starting to win like awards at the state and national level for like some broadcasting and filmmaking stuff, like when I was in high school. So I knew that was like one of the things that I was like, oh, like if I go out to LA, like I might be able to like get some editing jobs or something on the side or whatever, just because I'd been doing that. So it started off like in filmmaking and music videos and like some music collaborations, and then like different comedy stuff and improv. And then it led to some of the shows like at the Comedy Store, like Roast Battle and Kill Tony and the Comedy Jam. And I had a music duo with my buddy Pat Reagan for a few years. I did a show with Josh Adam Myers and Avery Pearson at the Improv for years called Midnight Snack. And all these shows, I had a different part to play, where I like to think that I made my friends look good, and it was a collaborative thing. And then they made me look good because we were a team that were kind of like, you know, the rising tide was lifting all the ships. Yeah. So Kill Tony and Roast Battle were the early ones at the Comedy Store, outside of Stand Up on the Spot. Stand Up on the Spot is the OG as far as like the longest. Like that's been my baby. Like while I was open micing, I was running that show. I had no business running that show, but comics were nice enough to do it. And dude, Ari was one of the first, like one of the gets for me of the show, where I was like, dude, I can't believe Ari Shaffir is doing my show. And he just did the 100th episode on YouTube, which is such a cool full circle moment. You know,
he did my first episode of this show. Dude, he's a giver, man.
He really is,
and that's why he is where he's at. I mean, aside from being just hilarious, he really gives a lot, and it comes back around. But what came first, Roast Battle or Kill Tony for you?
It would have been Kill Tony.
Kill Tony definitely started first.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then Then
no,
Roast Battle,
I was on Kill Tony, and I was on the show a total of 5 years with the band. It was like 4.5, 5 years. And the first appearance I made on the show, this is when it was literally called Hinchcliffe's Notes, like the early pilot episodes. And then I think like a few episodes in, they called it Kill Tony. But I remember Tony had like this early merch shirt that used to explain people just to how to spell his name, and it was like H plus inch.
Yeah,
Cliff,
I kind of
like
remember that.
The equation.
Yes,
of
it was like a math. It was like a math.
It was like a math, like a beautiful mind, but like a chalkboard, like with like all his little things that had like a little golden pony on it and stuff.
What a cocksucker! He thinks he's a genius.
Dude, I would wear it around him all the time. Like I
wish
bought
I
it.
had one.
Oh, dude,
I would take one now.
Yeah, dude, I had it in gray and white.
It was gray and white. I see it vividly. That's so funny, man.
Yeah. And Tony, like I didn't tell him I bought it like off of his site, and I wore it. He goes, "You bought one of those?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "You're my buddy. I'm gonna support you." And he's like, "Thanks, dude."
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
And was that was the band though, right?
That was when I was in the band. Tony and Benji at the Comedy Store were the first couple people to vouch for me at the open mic level. And they liked me because I would do a different 3 minutes during potluck every time. Because a lot of comics would do the same 3 minutes over and over. And I became known quickly at the store of like, that guy has a new set every single time. And it might not have been the material the whole time, but I would be furiously writing like every single week before I like really got into the Comedy Store to make sure that I had a new set. And Benji Flalo and Tony Hinchcliffe were just pivotal guys as far as like hosts who had a little bit of power before they were even like passed, but they held the power at the potluck to get you to that next stage for friends and family, and then before you become a paid regular and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, yeah. Those guys, they adored you right out the bat. I mean, I think that's like when I started to get to know you, because it was like new kid in school. I was always shy to anybody,
but the Comedy Store, what goes along with this show really well, I had my first set there at the potluck when one of those guys wasn't hosting. I think it was Jade or somebody hosting. And I had a set that was a forgettable set, is what I'll say. Do you know what I mean? I got off. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great, and it terrified me. And I didn't go back to the Comedy Store for another year and a half because I was like, I have to do more open mics, and I need to build up material. So by the time I come back, it is undeniable that like I should be there. But that first set, it scared me because it was one of those like you get one or two like, oh, pretty good. Like, oh, good job, man. But like, it wasn't a unanimous thing where comics in the back were like, dude, that was great. And it really scared me because I'm like, I don't want to be remembered as that guy. So I literally went and mic'd. And then I came back, built up my material. And then every week, I like the first set I had was a great set. And then Tony and Benji and some of the other guys started to be like, there's this guy who's doing some good stuff on the mic. And then they started putting me up every week on Mondays or Sundays. And then Tommy and started working me and friends and family, and you know, that whole thing.
Oh yeah. It was very organic. By the time you're in, or especially when you get past, I don't think anybody batted an eye.
And that's what I wanted. That's what you want.
Probably felt like you were. I think to all of us, it didn't seem like you weren't passed. You know what I mean? Like you were hanging, you're doing things. Also, for somebody that puts so much out, like you did a lot of shows. You really gave us like opportunities, like the community, like doing your live shows. Also, you had a thing for a while where you're making a sketch. I want to say every week. It was
called 7 Day Shorts at Second City, and I was making sketches every single week.
Yeah, I mean, you were just always at it.
And I had some other shows that, you know, that's the thing. Stand Up on the Spot was the one that became part of what I do, but like I ran many other format type shows, and I'd throw buddies up on that were part stand up, part improv, and they just didn't work. And where I'd just book friends to come do stand up sets, and then like improv teams would do the other half of the show, and they were awful. It was just, we had the midnight slot at IO West when that was still open in the upstairs, and we would be performing basically like it was me and my buddy Justin Alexio, and we were. Basically, we didn't know how to promote. We didn't know how to get people out. So we booked improv teams, and then they were performing for us and some other improv teams, and we were doing our stand-up in front of improv teams, and that was our audience.
Jesus.
But it was a Saturday night time slot, and we're like, we're making it, baby.
Yeah. I mean, dude, you were always making something, man. It's pretty remarkable. So when the band's forming, like something that was. It's always so interesting to me. And another thing that I think, I mean, you got so many tools I could never have, but it was so impressive the way it was a new character every Monday.
Sure.
That blew my mind.
And that, you know, to this day, it's so interesting because, you know, with being the band on Kill Tony in those early formative years of the show, people don't realize that, like the people who are fans now, they'll go back and watch the old version of the show from years ago. And I still get messages every week where it's like, I love this different version of the show, or this is the worst thing Kill Tony is good how it is now.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's such a contrasting thing. And people don't realize like, that was our open mic for characters.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first time we were doing a lot of these characters. And the ones that stuck, the ones that came back and were recurring, those were like the hit characters of the show where I still, like, I ended up like years later, like working on them. And they ended up on Dr. Phil Live, like with Adam Ray, and, like that we did on like his sold out theater run, where then we're doing improv in front of thousands of people, and it's insane.
And it's a character you came up with years ago on a whole other show that you probably would have thut could have been dead after that.
For sure.
But the character lived in you. It wasn't about Kill Tony. It was just on Kill Tony.
Yeah.
What would you say were some... I mean, there had to have been plenty of times where it was hard.
I mean, I'll tell you a character bomb specifically I'll tell you a couple that Tony hated specifically that he's like, why would you do that? Because like we had a creative relationship where he trusted what the band was going to come out with. We never ran by the characters before we did them. So he was surprised along with the audience when we walked out on that stage. We even would change in a separate area of the Comedy Store so he wouldn't even see what kind of costumes we were wearing. Nice. So his face when we walked out was genuine. He had no idea what we were being. So sometimes it was perfect. And then other times we just missed and just bombed so hard. And one time we came out as mental patients. And it was with Todd Glass on the panel. He goes, perfect. Why would you choose mental patients with Todd Glass? He goes, he's already like out there as a comic. He goes, that doesn't make sense. I go, yeah, we thought it would work and it didn't. Like we just literally like I was in a gown and like I was drooling through most of the show, and then he would ask me questions and I'd be like, and he's like, Jeremiah, what do I do with that? Like literally, what do I do with that? I'm like, but that's what the character would have done. And he's like, yeah, but that doesn't, like, sometimes I was so deep in character that I'm not thinking 360 about the show. And that's when the show, you know, when we would bomb is like, if we weren't thinking 360, not only singularly as the band, but how is it going to benefit the show as a whole? And we did these one characters that still is probably one of Tony's least favorite characters, where we did these puppets. We were these puppeteer characters. My name was Gerald Felt, and I was a ventriloquist act that had a lot of puppets in his back. And we were all black and we were very theatrical, and every puppet had a different voice. So there's this little Southern boy that had a little puppet right here, and then there's this other girl. It's like literally I have puppets on my hands that we're interacting with Tony, and he's like, who am I? Like, who do I talk to? Who do I talk to? Do I talk to the puppeteer? Do I talk to the little Southern boy? Do I talk to the little girl puppet? Or I had an old black man puppet that was like, oh, hell no. He's literally like, he's looking at me like, Jeremiah, what do I do with this? And then not only that, Joel is behind me. He has his own bag of puppets. There were 8 puppets that we were cycling through during this Kill Tony in Las Vegas, and Brian and Tony are looking at me and Joel like, well, guys, this is insanity. And Joel had this black girl puppet called Tiffany Handish. It was so ridiculous, dude. It was so like, and it was one of those things where like the audience loved it because it was so insane. But he's like, Tony like rarely ever says, he goes, I don't know if I want to see those characters again. like I don't know about that one, dude. And we're like, I don't know if we ever did do that after it, like, because it got such mixed reviews. People either loved it or hated it.
I mean, it sounds hilarious. I mean, I'm crying right now. That is so funny to me. But I just imagine Tony trying to decide. All right, you know what? Who's your leader?
Right.
Who's like? And then talking to the black guy.
And then he looks at me and he goes, "Well, I know that guy's checked out." Like I'm like,
how long usually when you're on there during Kill Tony with these characters till you realize collectively as a band that this isn't working well? And is there like a communication while you're on stage with these guys?
Well, it's hard is when 1 minute in and you have an hour and a half left of the show. That is the hardest. Because guess what? I still got to commit to the character the whole time. There was multiple times where like what I figured out with the process of like kind of workshopping these characters, like it comes down to always the point of view of the character. Does the character have a strong point of view? And we would do these like sometimes pop culture characters where we'd come out one time like as Street Fighter characters, right? Okay, the initial pop we got, huge. Everybody has Street Fighter. Then like we realized while we're out there, like, we have no point of view on these characters.
Yeah, who is Blanca?
No, exactly. We didn't come up with backstories or something for certain characters. So then we're like, oh, we have an hour and a half where we got to figure out like what these characters are. But sometimes that's where the little nuances of different characters who ended up becoming recurring on the show and stuff like that came to life and be like, oh, I'm figuring this out in real time of who and what these characters even are.
Right. Yeah. And there's like, how many people were in the band?
So we had, originally it was me and Pat Reagan. Then it was me, Pat Reagan, and Joel Jimenez. And then we added Chroma Chris Dillon. He was on bass. And then towards the end of the LA run, like the last probably year and a half, was Jessie Jetski Johnson.
Yeah.
She's on trumpet.
Right.
We added her last, and that was like the last final form of it.
And you guys all had your funny things about you too, man. Like even like when you guys would start to speak up, like there was like, I think people developed a taste. You know what I mean? Like you could tell like Jetski you really saw her sense of humor shine.
Of course,
on that show.
Each person had its own thing. Like she had her vroom vroom thing for a jet ski. Joel, he had a Joelberg chant.
Oh,
when he would hit
that.
certain jokes, the whole place would go, Joelberg. Yeah,
that was great.
And Tony, one time, I forget who said it, is like, Jeremiah doesn't really have a thing. I'm like, I'm killing too hard. There's not enough time. And Tony's like, okay, Jeremiah.
What happened? We were talking about this the other night, and I heard about this when Tony told me about this when it happened, and it just sounds awful. I don't know how you guys survived it, but what happened in Ireland with the food poisoning?
That was rough, dude. That was still, I think it's still to this day the hardest show that I've been a part of was we got neurovirus in Ireland. And we were all violently ill. Probably one of I can count on one hand how sick I've ever been to this point where like we read up on it later and like some of us should have checked into a hospital.
Jesus.
Like we were throwing up so much, like we couldn't even keep water down or anything down. Like I'm talking like so ill, like if you put your lips into a bottle of water, your body is like immediately throwing it up. So we think we got it from a meet and greet that we did in Ireland because you don't know how the germs or whatever are processed. But literally, we had to travel from Ireland to Manchester to do a show the next night. And we all start texting and calling, and Tony's sick, Brian's sick, I'm sick, and Joel is like, I think I feel something a little queasy in my stomach. I go, you're not sick then, dude. Yeah. Whatever we have, you don't have. And he was nice enough to go to the store and get us like Gatorades or Lycorades or whatever it is over like there. It's like an off-brand. It's called like Lidocade, or it's something weird where it's like it's not Gatorade, but it is. It's like Lidocade. It's the same thing. And he went and got like soup and different things, and like we couldn't keep any of it down. And we were puking literally before we got like our taxi to the airport, and we were all sitting just in zen, trying not to puke to go to the airport because we also need to get through the airport so they don't like put us in a room and be like, you're too sick to fly. Red Band had a barf bag on the plane, and he was puking in his jacket the whole flight. The whole flight just being like, bleh, bleh. And then he like when we landed, he like had to throw it away quickly. He like left it somewhere. It was disgusting. It was really gross.
Were you guys sitting next to each other on the flight?
We were in different areas, so we at least like had our own space where we weren't like checking in with each other. You know how sometimes like you feel more sick when you see somebody else is like hurting too?
Sure.
Like we were all just like trying to, and then on the way to the venue, we're all puking like before the taxi picked us up, and as soon as the taxi parked for the gig that night, I threw up in the parking lot. Tony threw up in the parking lot. And then we all laid on the cold tile of the green room before we got called to the stage. And we did that show in Manchester, and it was so hard.
How do you do that?
You just, Redman was out there playing the sound, and, Tony walks out, the adrenaline hits for long enough, and Joel and I get out there, and you try to riff as best you can. Wow. It wasn't our best show, but we did the show.
God, incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, that's iconic.
Yeah.
Have you been out there since?
No, I need a redemption.
Yeah.
I need a redemption
That's what Ireland is to you?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Wow. What's it like with the Wave when, you guys, I mean, God, the Wave carried that show for that was an era.
It was a fun era of roast battle at the Comedy Store.
How does it come to be? How do you guys, you, Willie, and Jamar, how does...
Dude, and that was a thing where Moses had been telling me forever to come to the Comedy Store on Tuesday night. And back then, it was before I was married to my wife, we were dating at the time. It was Tuesday. There wasn't a ton going on in LA. And that was our big date night of the week where I took off shows. I didn't do shows. That was a night where I was unavailable, where I'd tell people no, I'm doing things with my lady. It's not happening tonight. And there wasn't a ton going on in LA, so it worked out perfectly. But Moses formed the show that happened to me on Tuesday where he kept begging me to come. He's like, dude, you will love this show. It's out there. It's weird. It's right up your alley. You'll love it. And I was like, I'll check it out. I'll get to it. My girlfriend at the time, she goes out of town, and I'm like, hey, she's out of town. I'm going to come tonight. When I'm there, they're down a guy for what they were doing for, at the time, what was their version of The Wave at the time. It was Jamar, Jack Knight, and it used to be, it was Valentino McCoy, Quinta. She's on, what is the Abbott Elementary? She used to be in The Wave.
Wow.
Yeah,
Fun fact.
Quinta Brunson used to be in The Wave. She was the female. She was the only female member of The Wave. There used to be 10 people in the corner. There was literally a wave.
Yeah.
And it was called the All N-Word Wave.
Yes.
And they're like, can you fill in tonight? We're down a guy. And I was like, absolutely. So anytime a joke hit, it would be like a Def Jam reaction. It would be like, oh, and they'd be doing crazy dance moves on stage and different things and just acting a fool. And it was led by Jamar, and it's what he would do. If you remember, during potluck in the OR, he would drag himself across the back end of the original room after somebody would make stupid jokes, and he would just be acting a fool. And he was doing that with a group of people. I was like, I love this. This is pure energy. It's chaos. It's everything that I love about comedy, in its purest form. And over time, I told my wife, girlfriend at the time, I was like, we got to change our date night. After that one show, I was like, we got to change our date night to a different night. I go, this roast battle show is going to be, it's something special that I haven't seen yet in comedy. And I started going every week, and they were I was a part of it. I just fit with Jamar. We already had good chemistry comedically. And then eventually we added Willie to the mix, and it came down to, over the years, down to me, Jamar, and Willie. And that's when I came to the group, I tried to add a little bit of structure with what if we added props? We're kind of we don't we can only do so much with just our body. And then we started coming up with different bits and stuff. And then we just would have a ton of stuff where we went shopping at a dollar store or a costume store. And sometimes we would have items that we never heard the jokes ahead of time. And sometimes we would have an item that would match up perfectly with a joke that we would quickly grab, and we would have this communication that was all hand signals. And it was like our own little wave language, and then we would get up there in 3 to 5 seconds, and people would be like, how are they doing this? And we're like, it's just pure improv. We are living in the moment and hanging on every word of what these battlers are saying. And then we got to have a little bit of a sense of, oh, okay, this is a fat dude. Let's get some fat type props. Let's get some food. Let's get some pudding. Okay, this person's white. Okay, they're battling somebody black. There's probably gonna be a mayonnaise joke. Let's get a jar of mayonnaise just in case that happens. So then we look like geniuses. We're off of predictive what they might be saying, and then we have it and it's ready to go, and it became this beautiful thing where it was chaos, but it became this controlled chaos thing. And it was a cool
I
cool
can
time.
see you guys not using the mayonnaise, and after the show, Jamar being like, "Who's gonna take the mayonnaise?"
Is it your week or my week?
You're all trading off who takes what you don't.
Yeah.
So when you guys, I mean, that what started in the belly room as this weird sideshow thing between you guys became, I mean, I forgot about the all N-word wave. I forgot that was epic too. But then when it dwindled down to just you three,
Which they still called us the all N-word wave when it was just us three. Yes.
Perfect. You probably love that.
Oh, I was like, I mean, all right, I'll take it. I'll be a part of something cool.
But what's crazy is that when it got picked up on Comedy Central, they brought the wave on. So that thing that was just this little side part of a show became like you guys like stole the show like from the belly room days up until the Comedy Central days. I remember seeing you guys on TV doing your thing, and I remember one time you guys did something. I think it was Ralphie May, and he was like losing a battle, and I could see, and there was something where it was like he said something to you guys, like you could tell he was like, you're like rubbing salt in the wound, you know, like
Well, we were the other. I forget. Was it Mike Lawrence who went up against? I forget who was going up against him. Maybe it was Mike Lawrence, but we were running out more for the other battler, and I was close with Ralphie at the time. But that's what was hard is sometimes as the wave we react to. Genuinely, we would all have to check in with each other and be like, does this deserve for us to hype this up and go crazy? And if we'd be like, then we would sit.
Yeah.
We wouldn't go out there. And we were running out for the other battler, and Ralphie looked at us like, can you guys come out a little bit more during my jokes? Like he was like looking at us like, bro, like you're doing that for this guy, but like I know you.
Yeah.
Like I would open for him and stuff, and he looked out for me, and I'm just like, that person's killing right now. Like it's, you know,
well, it's just like when you're judging a battle, and it's like your friend versus some guy who's wrecking your friend. It's like, what are you gonna do?
I know.
I mean, come on. We'll talk about this later.
I know. But like as a comedian, you're like, I gotta be real and honest.
Be real, man. Yeah. I've done that where I've judged the battles out here at Mothership where. It would be like it's kind of close, but even if the guy maybe had the edge, and if I'd look at the other votes, the guy facing my friends winning, you know, sometimes I've been like, I'll even just say like, look, man, this was really close, and if you weren't my friend, you know, but I got to go with my boy on this one.
You just address the elephant in the room?
Yeah, because it's like, it's close enough. Like there's an argument for either. It could go either way.
What was tough for Jeff Ross on the Comedy Central series is he was friends with almost all the battlers.
Oh yeah.
So he said that he had to have a lot of conversations with people after the fact where, like, he gave certain battles to people, and they're like, "Really?" He's like, "I just was judging what I thought in that moment. I'm friends with both you guys. I'm sorry. This sucks, but I got, you know."
No, it is what it is. It's comedy, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like you got to be true.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. What does bombing on the wave look like? You ever go out there and you're doing the mayonnaise and people are just like, why? Now it smells.
We had one. I would consider this a bad bomb because we did this bit with milk in the belly room, and we had like, it was a full gallon of milk that it didn't make like hardly any sense. It was just for the shock value. I was just like pouring it all over myself and drinking it, and it didn't get that big of a response in the room. So now I'm just sitting soaked in milk, and they never said anything to the wave about like the antics that we did in the belly room, and we got in trouble. They're like, this can mold the carpet, this can stain it. They're like, anything but milk, Jeremiah. I go, all right, sorry. And like that, you have to live like not only like with the internalness of that, but like now I'm soaked and I smell like bad milk. It's mixing with sweat and stuff like that. And I'm like, that bit wasn't even worth it.
That reminds me, I was on the panel for a Kill Tony during the pandemic, which, man, That's another thing that era was really rough.
Oh, you want to talk about a full? I mean, if you look at the Rolodex of episodes, we don't have a live audience for the pandemic episodes of Kill Tony, and honestly, I mean, some of those are hard watches because we're still trying so hard as the band, and there's not a live audience for us to play off of, so. We'll be saying things to Tony and there's no laugh track. So some of the stuff we're saying in character, like people are like, are they being dicks to Tony right now? It's like, well, there's no audience to soften it. And we're going back and forth. So then it just looks like we're not joking and we're at each other's throats. It's like, well, there's no audience to laugh.
Right.
So you take away the laugh track and then you're just like, what are we doing? It's hard.
Like if you tell like a more of like a racial, like, kind of racist joke on stage and it doesn't get a laugh.
Oh, dude.
Then it's just racist. It's like when the audience laughing makes it a joke. That solidifies, oh, we're joking. Or whatever the offensive thing is. When it doesn't get the laugh, it's like kind of seemingly more real. But I remember when I did the panel on that, like you said, no live audience. It's just us.
It's hard.
Your guys' characters, or I don't know what you were going for. I don't remember.
Already a bum. You don't even know what we were going for.
It probably made sense, and you'll be able to explain it immediately. But you guys were all wrapped up in tinfoil, or maybe Joel was.
Were we homeless people?
Whatever you guys were, maybe homeless, but it was like I want to say tinfoil, but whatever it was that he had wrapped over his entire body was loud. So whenever he'd move around, you just hear the crunching, but there's no audience, so it's coming out on the mic.
Yeah, you just hear it crumpling and crinkling into the mic.
And I remember Tony just constantly leaning back and snapping it and just stop moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Were you guys sandwiches?
I don't think we were sandwiches. No.
Dude, what was it though?
But you know what? Add it to the list. Let's do a sandwich character.
At Subway before you go out. So you guys, that was a great time. I mean, the wave. I mean, you were. I remember. I think it was after Tony. There was something that he had just killed. Tony had just achieved something, but then then Roast Battle got on Comedy Central, and then it got announced. I forget what Tony's deal was. Something happened cool for that show too at the same time. And I remember Moses tweeted something like, nobody here is more stoked than Jeremiah. Because it was like the gun for hire who's got his hands in everything.
Oh, it was Roast Battle and the Jam around the same time.
It was the Jam. The Jam got on Comedy
Central. They both announced on Comedy Central, and then I also announced to I put on social media. It was right around the same time. Just the timing happened that way. I proposed to my girlfriend at the time, and it happened all so. I got engaged. Roast Battle and the Comedy Jam all got greenlit all at the same time.
Wow.
And it was just like this magic era of just whoa. I guess this is the new normal.
I
guess this just happens now.
Yeah.
It don't happen like that.
No.
Yeah. But it was cool.
At what point do you start getting in cahoots with Adam?
So we had done each other's pods and stuff over the years, and we had good comedy chemistry. And really what kind of amped it up, we had been doing it before the pandemic, but the pandemic was really a turning point for how much Adam and I were doing together. Because on my podcast, Jeremiah Wonders, we started to do these Lost Dr. Phil episodes. And every Dr. Phil, one of my original characters, some of them I came up with on Kill Tony for the show that had become recurring characters. I was like, okay, I know these characters' voices really well. I know exactly who they are. I would bring them on to the podcast, and Dr. Phil would help them with some of their issues. So my original characters were getting therapy from Adam Ray as Dr. Phil. So we did these lost episodes of Dr. Phil during the pandemic, and all the comments were they weren't getting crazy amount of views, but they were getting a little bit more views than my other podcasts. And they were like, you and Adam need to do this as a show. I know you guys both have your own projects, but you have to do this. This is something unique and special. And we did a handful of them. I think we did like maybe like 5 or 6 Dr. Phil's, and then we did a couple of his other characters. His Bruce character, he did also on a Jeremiah Wonders, where it was it was called Bruce Hardy Party Planner or something like that, and I played his billionaire dad that was ashamed of him. And it was this like very fun dynamic, and we would do this other series called Tad and Katie. I was one of my like this douchebag character that was just awful to his girlfriend. Like this girlfriend that's so stoked to be around her guy, and he's like, yeah, whatever. She's gained like 3 pounds. She's kind of gross right now. It's just awful. And it's like, babe. And it's like, anyway, so we had all these different like things that we were doing together, and people were like, dude, you and Adam got to keep doing stuff. And we're like, yeah, we're shooting sketches and different things. And then he was workshopping Dr. Phil like with some stand-up like he did at the Laugh Factory. And then eventually later on, he ended up doing a Dr. Phil live. He goes, dude, I want to do my Dr. Phil, but as a live show at the Comedy Store. Will you be one of your characters that I help, like we have been doing like in the garage, where you come out like at some point in the show and you have an issue, and I help you like on stage at the Comedy Store. So we did it, and the first one was with Bill Burr, and that one went viral and blew up on YouTube. And he started scheduling more of the live shows, and just credit to him, just being like a homie. Like he's like, I want you a part of all these live ones. Like we've done these. Like it was like a good faith thing. It was like, dude, we started something cool together. Let's continue this on. And I was a different character on every Dr. Phil live, and sometimes those would work, and then sometimes, just like on Kill Tony, some of the characters I would do once, and I was like, yep, we're not doing that again on Dr. Phil live. Yeah.
What happened in with Knoxville? Johnny Knoxville told me that he did something with your nuts.
Oh, dude. Johnny, it was an honor.
I mean,
if we're talking about that, it was an honor, my friend.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about. I think that was like one of the more shocking episodes that I'd seen.
So I was my douchebag character, Tad, on that episode of Dr. Phil Live that we'd done in the garage. That same character, that was a popular character years ago that we had done on Kill Tony. Red backwards hat, black t-shirt, red wristband, love Limp Bizkit, love that, like Fred Durst is a god, dude. So that character is the bit on Dr. Phil Live with Johnny Knoxville that night was they were looking for maybe some new people to include in Jackass. That was like that was casting. It was like a kind of like an open casting. Yeah. So they got somebody out of the audience. It was like Adam, a random person out of the crowd, and then I was planted in the crowd as a random person as Tad. So I come up there, and they're doing this bit where it is a machine that nut taps you with a flip-flop that totally like hits you in the junk. Like it's literally a pressurized machine that's like piston rods that are flipping really fast. Now, for whatever reason that night, we had done it one other time at the Comedy Store, and it was really, really hard that night. But for whatever reason, there was some kind of a malfunction where I could just tell that everybody was hamming it up a little bit. And I was like, as my character, I was like, this guy's a douche. Like, he's going to be honest. I'm like, dude, I can handle way more than that. And I kept making fun of the machine. And Johnny heard this, and he's like, oh, you want to run with the bulls? Dude, he kicked me so hard in the penis and the balls that I fell to my knees. And then as I'm like, oh, fuck, oh, no. Oh, like it's legit so painful. I'm screaming. Then I start to get up. It's called a ladder. He comes up underneath me, picks me up by underneath and lifts me up entirely underneath with a hand and then drops me on the ground.
Oh my God. Ladders don't even work like that.
Dude, I know.
Oh my God. But yeah, what an honor. I mean, if anybody's going to and if anybody's going to hit you in your nuts.
No, and he kicked me. And dude, so after it happened, he apologized. He goes, I didn't mean to kick you that hard. And that's when I was like, oh, this was a legit kick. This wasn't like for stage or for a show. And he was laughing. He was like, I didn't think I was going to hit you that hard. Like, that's my bad. But he kicked me that hard because I was poking the bear, dude.
Yeah.
I was literally just like, I can handle so much more than this. Oh, this is a pussy machine. I was just like really going in on it. And like that's like his invention. He's like, oh, really? Okay. So he did that. And then after the show, I looked down at my crotch. My penis is so bruised.
No.
Yeah. It's so bruised and my balls are bruised.
Oh.
Like, so I'm literally like in so much pain after the show that I'm having to ice it immediately. And they're like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. And and we were doing this doc that they were following around Adam on the whole Dr. Phil live journey. And Adam's like, I don't want to see it, but I kind of want to see it. As Dr. Phil, he follows me into the bathroom stall, and it's just me and him in the bathroom stall, me showing him my penis, and then he walks out gagging. And he's like, I gotta go fuck my wife. He goes, I don't know why he goes, I've never voluntarily looked at another man's penis. Why did I just do that? Like, he was so deep in Dr. Phil, he's like, I think this would be a good idea.
Adam awoke.
Yeah. Like, then Adam's like, Dr. Phil, get a hold of yourself. What are you doing?
Mustache. Dude. Well, Jeremiah, I am so glad he came out here. But before I get off, I just wanted to, I just want to highlight, we're talking about Jeremiah Watkins, the comedian, the sketch god that you are. But you are also one of the kindest, sweetest people that I know, and especially in this dark world of comedy we live in. And I just want to tell my listeners this thing that we talked about a long time ago, and it's always stuck with me. And it's always meant a lot to me. But one time we were talking about how awkward it can be, just, like we're all showing up in a scene, right? Whether, whatever club we're at, improv, store, mothership, whatever it could be. And, how like you see people a lot, like, maybe every night sometimes. Mm-hmm. And then you kind of lose that zest for like, oh, hey, the dabbing up when you first see each other, you know what I mean? And I think when we had this conversation, I was in a place where I was pretty numb to it all. And I would find myself walking by some of my best friends and not even acknowledging them. And then we were talking about sometimes when you're doing that game of chicken, when you're walking down the hall and, you kind of see each other, but you're both looking to see if who's going to acknowledge anyone here? Is that guy going to say whatever do I have to? And I said, in those moments, I kind of was just like cave in and like look down. And you're like, no, man. No, I always make sure I'm the one to be like, hey, dude, what's up? And just like, and it sets a really good vibe. You know what I mean? And I know you bring that with you everywhere. You haven't changed. You've become successful and you create all these things. And you're literally that same Kansas dude that I met all those years ago. And I think that kind of tone you set out just as a person, just acknowledging everybody and, everybody counts to you. And it's just a really cool thing, man. And I'm so glad to see what you're doing and how far you're taking it. It's not even begun. I know that there's so much more, but I am honored to have known you and I've learned from you. And I really appreciate you as a friend, as a comedian, as a comrade, as a colleague. And anyways, man, thank you for doing my show.
No, dude,
you've had me on so many of your things, so it's an honor to have you on mine finally.
Well, dude, I love you, buddy. And when you asked me to do the show, I was honored to be a part of it. And we can do many more episodes because there's plenty of bombs that we can we can talk about.
We will, brother. I love you, dude.
Love you, dude,
man.